Hi, my name is Kim Chaplinsky, and this is my presentation on strategies for writing to learn. In my own classroom, I know that there are many times throughout the day that students need to write. However, after reading this week about writing to learn strategies, I realize how important it is for students to write across the curriculum in order to better understand information they are learning. It is also a great way for teachers to determine what students are understanding from information they are teaching. The two strategies I'm focusing on for this presentation are on journal writing in science and math, and also writing summaries. This is a quote I ran across in my reading that I think is the big idea of the importance of writing in the classroom. Writing helps students learn about a subject, but it also helps them learn about themselves and what works best for them. Journal writing in science is important to help students make sense of what they are learning. Very often, science has concepts that can be tough for young students to grasp. Giving them an opportunity to write about what they are understanding in a journal can help them make sense of the information that they are being presented. They can use writing, but they can also add pictures and diagrams to help them connect those ideas of what they learned about with what they already know. With young students, such as my fourth graders, it's important to guide them through this process of journal writing. Giving them prompts to answer or to follow along with helps guide their writing. In my district, we use digital science notebooks for all of our science units. We use an app called Explain Everything, where students can go and they can add the information that they're learning day to day. Typically, what I use this for is to record ideas about lessons or data that they are collecting from activities we do in class. But I realize this is a great place for me to include some slides where they can take time to write longer about what they've learned that day or that week to help them better understand the concepts rather than just inputting the data and the activity information. This app, Explain Everything, is really useful. It's very easy to use, and students can actually add in slides themselves when they want to write something longer and journal a little bit longer about what they've learned in class. Writing in science isn't only important and a benefit for student learning, but it is also something that the NGSS standards require. Districts should be including opportunities for students to write about science regularly in order to support learning. If this is something done early in elementary school, students will become accustomed to it and will be more independent in their writing as they get into middle school and high school. This will allow them to better study for tests that come up during those grades, and also just help them to remember the information, especially as they're learning about what they want to study when they go to college. Journal writing isn't just helpful in science, it's also important in math. While many teachers, including myself, often focus on number crunching and solving problems, it's also important for students to explain their thinking in writing about what they've learned in math that day. Explaining a problem verbally and then also in writing helps a student to understand the process better so that they can apply it to future work. In my district, we use a program called the San Francisco program. With this curriculum, it also has a journal piece for students. Students are given, what I end up using is just a spiral bound notebook, and daily or once a week, they're able to get a chance to write in their notebooks and explain the concept that's been taught to them. I admit that I don't do it as often as I should, and sometimes I run out of time in class, but now having read about how valuable it is to have students write during math, it's something that I will make more of a point to regularly include in my daily or weekly instruction. Another thing that would be important for students is to have math vocabulary posted in the classroom. This would be important for young students who don't necessarily have the word retrieval for all the vocabulary that goes along with the math concepts, so they can have access to these vocabulary words as they write in their journal. Having that chart takes away that need to have them recall those words, and instead they can focus simply on what they've learned that day and take more time to explain their thinking without having to just come up with the vocabulary. The other strategy I researched was summaries, which is very similar to journal writing. I mostly think of summaries as they relate to discussing fiction stories. However, summaries are really important for students to use in other subjects, particularly in social studies. When students learn about an important event in history, writing a summary is a great way for them to recall all of the most important information that they learned. In my classroom, we talk about the history of Connecticut, as well as important events related to famous people in Connecticut. These would be perfect opportunities for students to write a summary about what they've learned about the event or the person, rather than just answering a series of questions related to the topic. Summaries are great formative assessments for teachers to use to assess a student's understanding of a concept. This would be a time when a teacher could discover if they need to go back and reteach information, or if they need to spend more time with students to make sure that they're understanding the important ideas. In conclusion, both journal writing and summaries are extremely important for teachers to include in their regular daily instruction. Giving the students more opportunities to write across the curriculum will benefit the students in solidifying their understanding of concepts being taught. It can be used as guides for students as they learn, but it can also be used as assessments for teachers. These writing to learn skills should be started at the elementary level in order to support students as they get older and go into middle school and high school. Thank you for listening.